What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy, Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. So, the Dolphins made a few cuts today, 4 to be exact, and this is not new. A lot of teams around the league are doing it. The league basically gives you timetables to cut a certain number of people on your roster. So, people that were undrafted free agents, people that were practice squad, they were just kind of hovering on the fringes, are all subject to get cut during this time. The reason we've been bringing this up is because our long snapper, Blake Ferguson, was one of the people cut. Now, normally people are like, who cares about long snappers, right? He got hurt last year, and for the second half of the year, we had just a cavalcade of people being a long snapper. And people basically don't notice a long snapper until they mess up. When you try to snap the ball for a punt and it's fumbled and it's just like rolling back or it's way over the head, they're like, who snapped the ball? And then we look at who the long snapper is. Other than that, if you get the ball to the punter, we basically don't care. Now, Blake's been with the team since 2020. He was 28, and we let him go today. And the reason this really is a story is because we don't have a long snapper currently on the roster. Everyone that filled in last year is no longer on the team, and now we're letting him go. So, what are we going to do? Well, apparently, reportedly, I got to put that in quotes, we're going to bring in I forgot his last name already, Nealon Hibbert. He was an Alabama long snapper. He's undrafted free agent. Apparently, we're going to sign him. It hasn't been official yet, so I'm not sure if that's his people saying he's going to be signed or if this is the Dolphins people saying he's going to get signed or just a deal in principle. That part's unclear, but it seems like we're going to sign him. Don't know anything about him except that he was undrafted and he played Alabama. But we're assuming that the position, I'm guessing he's cheaper because otherwise, why would you get rid of someone who's been doing their job well? But first round of cuts, there are going to be a lot more cuts throughout the summer. There's a few people who were undrafted that we brought on that after a couple of the rookie OTAs just aren't going to work out. You're going to see a lot more of this, but hopefully, it won't be people that we really like. But it seems like our roster is just inflated right now. So expect more cuts, mostly people who you probably don't know on the roster, like guys who are like cornerback 10 that was like the backup special teams guy. Those are the kind of people who get cut early generally, or people whose contracts couldn't get moved, and we decided to kind of like move on from it. So we mentioned the rookie minicamp actually, and that's only important because this is when rookies are actually around the team and in the building. But you can't go until you sign your contract. So Quinn Ewers, late draft pick, signed his contract the day before, just in time to get into rookie minicamp. Again, this is not the most important thing in the world. No one's really being hit. You got shoulder pads on and shorts. It's just a time for you to be around a team, time for installation of plays, time to be around the guys, and so we can put some eyes on you, right? We've drafted you, we've seen the tape. Now we get to actually see you do stuff on the field. This is really important for Quinn because, again, he's trying to win the backup job. As of now, there's no indication that they're really even competing between him and Zach Wilson. It's been said Zach is the backup, Quinn is on the team. That's how we presented it. I've told you, I believe by day one of the season, Quinn will be the backup. He can only get there if he produces. If he comes out here during rookie minicamp, takes huddle, take control of the huddle, they're going to be doing like 7-on-7 kind of stuff. If he's making the right reads, making the right throws, the scouts like, oh, he seems like he's picked the offense up fast enough. Then at some point, more and towards the actual minicamps, they'll say, hey, we're going to open up the backup competition. Now, Zach Wilson could just beat him for the job. Totally possible. He's been in the league longer, bigger arm. I imagine Zach Wilson's actually really good in shorts and in shoulder pads. He's probably the man in shorts and shoulder pads. He's not a man when we put them bottoms on, but it's entirely possible that when you don't get pressured and you can't get hit, that Zach just looks better. I understand that. My reason for thinking that Quinn is going to take the job is because we have him for 4 years now. He signed a standard 4-year contract, like 4 years, like $2 million. Not a lot of money. But he signed a contract, so we got him locked in for 4. We have Zach for 1. So if they're near each other, which I'm guessing they're going to be, y'all know how I don't feel about Zach Wilson. If they're near each other performance-wise, why would I play the 1-year guy? I'm just going to play my 4-year guy, get as much experience as I can, because at some point we may need him during the year. So I'm betting that Quinn is not necessarily going to be amazing. I'm betting that he's going to be close enough to Zach Wilson that they have to open up a competition. And that he has a chance to beat Zach Wilson. And that if Zach Wilson, let's say this is like Madden. If Zach Wilson's like a 75 and Quinn's a 70, then Zach's going to be a third string quarterback. Now, if Quinn is out here and he's like a 50, and he's just like, I can't read coverages, I can't make a throw, all right, fine. He's not going to take the job. I'm betting that he's going to be close enough that this, like, you can go either way kind of guy. And if you can go either way, you go with a younger, cheaper guy. That's just the way the NFL works. So him getting in day one, not missing any installations, not missing any practices, not missing any plays, is invaluable to his opportunity to eventually supplant Zach for the second job, which is why I thought this was important to bring up, because sometimes in off seasons and after drafts, the players want to negotiate different contracts, like, I want a certain amount up front, or, give me an opt-out early. And like Caleb Williams, when he got drafted, was like, can I get equity in the team? And now they're like, no. You sign the contract and come to minicamp, and we'll see what you can do. So Quinn signed it. There was no BS negotiation. He's in the camp, and we'll see over the coming weeks how he performs. I told you, I think he will, by midsummer, he'll be the backup. So we mentioned the reconciliation thing last episode, about Jaylen Ramsey, where I said I think it'd be better if him and the Dolphins sat at the table, they brought him back in and said, hey, we can't find a good trade partner for you. Come back to the team. We'll figure it out in the back end. That was my proposal. Evidently, that got back to the Dolphins. People asked about it, and they said, nah. We're not interested in reconciliation. It hasn't been broached, and it doesn't seem like it won't be from their side. Like, maybe Jaylen might ask for it, but it seems like he's dead set on getting out, and the team is, we're not interested in trying to bring you back to the table. We're not trying to honor your contract. We just don't. We're trying to cut ties, right? So the issue up to this point has been teams that they wanted to trade with, again, wanted you to get some kind of compensation, whatever. The whole point in trading him would be to get assets back. Even if it's 5th, 6th, 7th, a couple, it's just something back for a player you gave a bunch of money to and gave him a bunch to get. Unfortunately, what is looking more and more likely is going to happen is that the Dolphins are going to just straight cut him, which is the worst case scenario, because you still eat the dead cap, you get zero back in return, and then he can just pick the team he wants to go to. That's not a good situation. So what? I get to go wherever I want to go, play for the team I want to play for. You get nothing back in return. You still got to pay the contract for the year. Yes, you're not on the hook for the remainder of the contract, so that's the win. But in the short term, that is a total loss. There's no win there. We have no one to take the position. We're losing money. We're not getting any assets back. It is a total loss. And I'm hoping that before June 1st, because that's when they would most likely do this, I'm hoping somebody comes out of nowhere and is like, all right, cool, we'll give you a 6 for him. Because basically you're trying to jump the line. If he becomes a free agent, let's say Cincinnati, who desperately needs secondary help, wants him, but it's kind of waiting for him to be a free agent. And if you're a team like Pittsburgh, you think, hey, we don't want Cincinnati to get him, we'll give up a 6 to jump in and take him. Hopefully something like that happens where he doesn't just get to completely choose what he wants and we can get any kind of asset back. But it's looking more and more like teams are kind of, they're waiting us out. They know we want to move him. They know he wants to get moved. We don't want to give up anything for him. And we don't think you guys are really going to let him go. And now it's seeming more and more likely that we're going to just let him go. I hate the idea of just releasing him. I think it's probably the worst possible outcome of this whole saga. I do not know how this got bungled so bad that you went from having a guy that was your top corner, respected around the league, probably took a step back, but not 2 steps back yet, because obviously still played. And somehow that player at that position with that experience with championship medal gets you literally nothing back in return while being under contract. This isn't a situation like with Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott where they got franchised once or twice, and now they kind of have you by the ankles where it's like, hey, you either give me a super long extension or I could just straight leave. Jaylen has 3 years on his contract. He's an under contract player. We somehow got in a situation where we signed you to an extension, promise you a bunch of money, and then we lose you for absolutely nothing. It's a really, really poorly managed situation. And again, that may have just been like he was feeling this way before, waited to secure his contract, and then wanted out. Who knows? Maybe the team thought, oh, he loves being here. It's Miami. It's Tua, whatever. And maybe he was thinking, let me secure a contract and then get up out of here. So maybe they just weren't speaking the same language. Or maybe he really enjoyed being here and last year just really scarred him. We don't exactly know because he hasn't really spoken out about it. I think he's trying to keep his profile down. But I'm hoping that somebody emerges. Detroit, like Washington, somebody just gives us something for him so we can at least like try to move on. But if we start getting close to June 1st and no one's traded for him, you can probably expect he's going to just be straight released, and we take on all that dead cap, and the Jaylen Ramsey saga will be over. Matt. But as always, guys, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. We appreciate the love and support. Thank you for the likes, subscribes. You guys are always crushing it for us. We appreciate that. We'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.